Right. Good evening, at least for me, here where I am. Recording this the 28th of June. It's almost 8 o'clock in the evening. And I'm only recording now because the heat is just too much, okay? Uh, so I'm not using my little sleeveless shirt, t-shirt, to show off or something like that. God's sake. It's just really hot, especially underneath these lights. So I'll record it like this. Now, as you saw from the title of the video, today I will be talking about an anniversary. Yes, tea. It's it is not just the British that like some tea sometimes. Okay, we'll be talking about the anniversary of Brexit, a joyous occasion for some. At least that is what we saw when they even created the Brexit festival and all of that. By the way, is that still a thing? You still have that Brexit festival or whatever? Perhaps with some slides and a haunted house, whatever, with European monsters crawling about, or maybe the 6 million Turkish that were going to enter the country or whatever. I think that was one of the stories you told. And how are those business going? Is everything all right? Now, you might think that I'm being, I don't know, mocking or perhaps even being ironic. And yes, being a bit ironic and a bit sarcastic. And it's one of my, well, characteristics, character traits, you would say. But let's go down to facts. So far, the latest assessments have spoken about numbers of lost revenue in rough terms to the UK for leaving the EU from a very, let's call it conservative, estimative of 14, 40 billion pounds, and to some talking about 100 billion pounds. Now, if I'm going to be honest with you, I would say the number would be more or less in the middle of that. So let's say 50 or 60 billion pounds. And that is a heck of a lot of money, especially for a country that does not tax the rich, does not tax the properties, that does not tax the a lot of things that the rich people have and that they kept after Brexit. What increased? The indirect taxing on the common citizen, the low classes and the middle classes, uh, of all of those that work for a living. It also cut. They are also cutting benefits for people that really need them. At least this is what I hear. I don't know, but you can tell me better than me. Uh, you've lost your bargaining power in the world. You've lost your voice in the world. So much so that you are pretty much either clinging to the EU or the US. You talk, but I don't think anyone really listens. You know, you have those wonderful trade deals, right? With India, with Australia, with New Zealand, with Canada, right? With the US. Now, sorry for being ironic again, and you should not think that I'm mocking as another adversary. I am mocking in the same way that a friend of yours would would stick it to you when he knows you did some very bad shit and that you should learn a bit about it instead of sulking and not doing absolutely anything about it. Patch drove the heat. But we have to go down to the facts. We have to go down to the economical indicators, and not just GDP. Jobs, job loss, number of businesses. And if you tell me we still have the highest GDP of this and that, I will tell you to shut up. Russia has a high GDP, right? Even North Korea can have a high GDP if they wanted to. If you look at economy that way, if someone picks up some numbers and shows them to you, you are acting like a child. Take a look at your streets. Oh, it's the immigrants. Right. Okay. No. The reason you have so much immigration is because you don't have any legal routes to do it. And you actually, that situation benefits those that rule you because this way they have a boogeyman, pardon me, to scare you with. So instead of, for example, helping your neighbor or your neighbor helping you, or you get to know them and they get to know you, and they accept your values, and maybe they bring some values that are good for you too. No, you hate. And when you hate, well, you're weak. You get weaker. And I said this often in my videos. I've talked about it, so I won't go into it again. I am a person that believes in controlled immigration and needed immigration only. I don't believe in being some kind of open door to the world. But I am not a racist, bigot, idiot, illogic, non-pragmatic person that doesn't know, for example, that right now we are getting a lot of South American immigrants, for example, a lot of them with the right to have a Portuguese nationality from Brazil, from Argentina, pretty much around from South America. And to us, look, I'll tell you this, they're different from us, but their culture really is not that different. I have friends, some of them are married with Brazilian women. It's the same thing, same set of values. You will find a difference here, a difference there. It's the same bullshit. The only thing that changes is the accent. Go figure. When it comes, for example, to the Argentinian, pretty much the same. From Africa, it's hit and miss. There are some African people from our colonies, like my former colonies from Portuguese Africa, like Angola and Mozambique. It's pretty much hit and miss. Some have the same basic set of values, others don't. And if you go to the Cape Verde Islands, it's the same shit. The only difference is that they are a bit more tan than us. To be honest with you, I'm being completely honest. All right? But people don't like to listen to this. No, people like to listen to comfortable lies. They like to listen to someone telling them exactly what they want to do and telling them, "Look, hate that one, hate that one. That one is different from you." Then they create the Muslim threat. What? They are going to convert you all, or are you going to let yourselves convert? And who gives a fuck about what imaginary friend you like? Look, you have to understand this. Uh, Having a sense of religion is a human characteristic. It's not going to go away. What we need to do is reason things. And my position with religion, it's very simple. It's a personal thing. If it was up to me, all the mosques, all the churches, all the temples would be open areas where people would just be able to enter, sit down, and pray however the fuck they wanted to. This is my position. Beautiful buildings with beautiful history behind it, beautifully crafted. You know, I don't know if I'm going to sound a bit Buddhist about it, but in my opinion, gardens of peace, where you would be able to just sit down, listen to the birds sing, listen to the wind, and no one would speak to you, and everyone would leave you alone. But I guess that's a bit too revolutionary for some. But to dictate your life by and I'm not talking about the moral and ethical aspect of it. No, or even the belief of a higher being. No, I'm not talking about it, and I've been very frank about it. I have spoken about my religious ideas. So go back and watch one of my videos where you will find every information that you want, because I'm very candid about it and I have no issues. But to guide your life for something that is written in the Bible or written in the Quran as if it was the absolute truth. Like someone once told me, it has to be the absolute truth because it's the Word of God. It's not the Word of God. If you want to believe in it, perhaps the intention behind those words, that is the will of God. If you want to believe in it, if you want to look at it from a theological point of view. And no, it's not the devil speaking. The devil is the one that's speaking in your little ear when you are saying when it's saying to you, hate him, hate him, hate him. Because I frankly don't care if Moses was, I don't know, 40 years in the desert because he had a dream. Because I really don't care about Moses. Not care in the sense, if he existed and he was a human being, of course, I would have compassion for him. I would help him if I could, maybe. No. But to live your life like that, for example, to not eat that food, to not drink that drink, to do this, to do that, to bound your life to such as an extreme, to endless repeating of things, being afraid of a future hell, or you will lose your soul. I will only lose my soul if I become a bastard that pollutes himself and pollutes others and hurts himself and hurts others. If I'm a decent person, a person is an atheist, and there is something afterwards. That person was a good person. That person helped everyone. That person did incredible goodness to all. Do you think any caring and loving God would punish that person just because he had doubts and he did not believe in him? Would a father do that? And here we go. We are talking about religion, and I wanted to talk about Brexit. We're going to have to do a. Well, I'm going to make a video about religion, but not in this sheet. No, I love this cup. It's very old. Let me see if I can show it to you. Whoops. It says Aries, my what you call it, zodiac sign. But I don't believe in that shit. Sorry. But again, let's continue now. Let's talk a bit about Brexit. So I would like you to make a mental exercise with me, or maybe pick up, you know, a sheet of oops, sorry, a sheet of paper. I can't show it. A sheet of paper. Put it in front of you, mm, and then write me what you had before in economic. I'm talking about economical terms, freedom of movement, the subsidies that came from Europe, the cohesion funds, all of that. Especially you folks in Wales. I think you're the group that will the country inside of the United Kingdom that was hit the most. And I want you to write me down all the things that you earned with Brexit. And if you say sovereignty, I will tell you to F off because you had sovereignty before. You're looking inside of the EU. There are some countries that are arguing, okay, that are not agreeing with everything, and they are free to do. You don't want to apply, do it, okay. But then there are consequences, of course, because if you sign a deal, an agreement, and you get extreme advantages with it, there's always a price to pay. But that price is not freedom, because you sitting here, I'm talking. I'm not very active politically now, but when I was pretty active. But what I'm trying to tell you is this. I want you to tell me all of the advantages and all the advantages they promise you. Number one, everything will stay the same. So, is everything still the same? You can just get in your plane or whatever. I don't know what, however you want to go to and go to the south of France and be there for a year or so. Can you wander around Europe without without having passports? And don't tell me about the new thing about the e-gates now, because that's a controlled agreement. Instead of just having that with countries, for example, like Portugal and a couple of more, now the EU is going to turn that into something to allow you to be swifter, which you are not a EU citizen. You cannot, for example, in in a foreign land, when there's an issue, a citizen of the EU can go to the embassy of any country that is in the EU and ask for help. And you will get the same treatment as a citizen from any other country, any other EU country, or from the country of which the embassy is a part of. Or they will enter in contact. They will contact your embassy and help you. Okay. This is just a little. This is just a little administrative perk where you can see number one the difference. I can get my identification card and perhaps a U health card that I can even get in my phone. But we usually print it or have it with us and travel from Lisbon to Warsaw. And if I follow the rules of those countries, I can even stay in one of them if I want to. Just like a Polish person can do the same. There are rules, of course. We are talking about sovereign nations, but it's pretty much possible, okay? And look, for example, I will give you an example because I talk a bit much more with them. The Germans do it often. I know some of them hippie-like people. They just one day pick up their picked up their stuff and they decided to come and live in Portugal. And there they are. No hassle, no issues, nothing. You can't. You lost that. Dozens of cultural events all over my country, in Spain, artists, all of that. You cut yourselves from it. And yet, you had a lot of supporters for it. As far as I recall, I only heard one so called famous person talking negatively about Brexit. But this is me, okay? I'm a metalhead. So, but Elton John, he was the only one that said this was a bullshit idea. You have that guy of the Who that then was crying about not being able to tour in Europe. You have the Bruce Dickinson or of Iron Maiden, for example. I heard him in an interview also talking about how nice Brexit will be. I heard all of them. I'm just quoting two people that I know. Just for the. I stopped listening to Iron Maiden because of that. Because, in my view, this is my view only, and of my about 20 friends that were part in the Over Club, he insulted us, the damn Europeans. Gucci. So I just stopped. For context, I listened. I have listened to I had listened to Iron Maiden since I was 6 years old, and I stopped after that. After seeing that interview, I sold or mostly gave away all of the records I had, with the exception of a single with a trooper that my late father gave me, and a T-shirt that my late father gave me because they meant something to me because it was my father that gave it. As for that, as for the rest, no. I gave it or sold it off, or I no longer attend any concerts of them. I no longer listen to their music, not even on YouTube, anywhere, because I don't like ungrateful people. And if you want to know what is the prevalent feeling in Europe towards the UK due to Brexit, beyond the simple who cares, ignoring it, it's the feeling of someone that was ungrateful towards you. This is the feeling most Europeans have. Me personally, look, I know I sometimes talk a lot, but I'm pretty much a very cold person in that aspect. I tend to ignore things. If you insult me, I will ignore you. I won't waste my energy hating you or trying to cause you damage. For example, in this case, what damage did I did to animated? I don't badmouth them. I don't talk ill about them. I don't care about them. I simply choose to completely ignore them. For a context also, I can play the rhythm guitar, bass, and drums of all songs of Power Slave. I still can. I still remember it. But I won't play them again. I won't speak about them again. Even if I was personally contacted by them, I wouldn't answer. I would give a polite line because I'm not an impolite person, but I would have I rejected tickets to go see concerts of them. I rejected it, and it included a trip to another country to go watch them. I refused it. All paid. Why? I don't like ungrateful people. And as we come to this Brexit anniversary, I just hope people take a minute to think about what they did, how they acted, and what they lost. And I would also like people to think how illogical, how dumb it is that you are still supporting the main actors that convinced you or helped convince you, I won't talk about that, to vote to leave. The ones that told you that everything was going all right. One of them is now leading big time party and is constantly on the TV. He's even influencing labor policies. Imagine that. And that person is the main responsible, one of the captains of the movement, and he's still there. You still vote for him. You still like him. You still talk about him. I mean, I'm not much of a person to assess emotional responses, but that is a bit odd in my opinion. But, well, I would just like to end this video by saying happy Brexit to all those that love it. And I hope you the ones that like Brexit, because the other ones I won't say that because there are a lot of people that were honest, that were really thinking about their country when they voted for leave. Some people that regretted their vote and that did something about it, talked about it, created YouTube channels like I did, like I have here. A lot of people that did a lot of things and that deserve their for their honesty. They deserve for us that are on the outside to say, all right, it's okay. Okay, it's not even an acceptance. Sorry, it's not even accepting some kind of apologies. No, it's simply recognizing that the person has recognized that what he or she did was wrong. That is enough. Okay, the world is not some kind of Shakespearean drama. The world is quite simple. You accept, you learn, you don't do it again, and you can carry on. But you don't forget. And what a lot of people in the UK are trying to do is trying to forget. If you forget, you learn nothing. So, again, my dear Brexiters, my dear reform voters, oh yes, reform voters, all of you, I wish you a very happy Brexit and may you experience the full consequences of it as you have been experiencing them and as you will experience them in the future.